Hi, this is Jim Musser with Upstream Ministries, and this is my April 8th, 2026 video on views from downstream. And I focus a lot on discipleship and talking about making disciples. And I wanted to, for the next few weeks, just talk about different aspects of discipleship, some that perhaps you haven't thought about or given much importance to. And this first one is on seeking forgiveness, confession and seeking forgiveness from others that we have wronged. And I remember as a very young Christian, within months of having become a Christian, a follower of Jesus, it came to me from the Lord that I needed to confess to the parents of my then girlfriend because I thought that they were racist. And I was very angry at them. And the Lord convicted me of that. And so I went to them, and I think I have my Bible in hand. I don't know if I ever referred to it, but I confessed to them that I had been very angry and had actually felt hate towards them. And I wanted to ask their forgiveness. And that was a hard thing for me to do, but it was very monumental in my Christian walk to do that. And I think sometimes we live in such a quote unquote move on culture. We're just ready to move on. We don't want to deal with the sins maybe we committed against others. And I remember about a year ago or so, I called one of my former board members at the ministry that I led for many years. And I had to ask his forgiveness because we were having some really serious staff issues and relationships. And he was my kind of go-to person to complain and gripe and express my anger towards these staff and my frustrations. And I realized that I put an extra burden on him that was not his to carry, and I shouldn't have been asking him to bear it. And so I called him up, and this has been 2 years since we'd seen each other, and I just said, yeah, I just want to tell you that I'm very sorry about the way I used you in a sense to vent my frustrations over and over and over again. And I said, I just need to ask your forgiveness. And he was very kind, and he said, well, I appreciate that. And yeah, you do have my forgiveness. And he tried to minimize it a little bit, but I could tell that that meant something to him. And I think that that opens the door for reconciliation and just peace in relationships when we're willing to admit that we've made some mistakes, we've sinned, and we need to confess that and do that. And I've seen the other side of it where people just aren't willing to forgive and let go of things. They become embittered. And a follower of Jesus just cannot hold on to their own sin or bitterness towards the sin of others. We're called to confess that. James talks about that. Confess your sins one to another. And we need to be in better practice of that. And we're not very good at that. In a lot of these heightened times where people are just at each other, brothers and sisters at each other, but no one, or very rarely, asks forgiveness for things that are out of line. Occasionally it happens, but I think it's a discipline, a spiritual discipline that's not practiced very much in the church today, and we need to reintroduce that. That is a discipline that we need to practice that helps to maintain peace and relationships, a sense of community within our community of believers. And so today I just want to encourage you, if you believe that you wronged somebody, and regardless of how long ago it was, and and you ask the Lord to reveal these things, and something comes to mind, then address it with that person. And even if it's been so long, you aren't going to have a relationship with them necessarily, but I think it will do much good for you, and it may do much good for the other person, and just being a witness of what it looks like to humbly follow Jesus. Have a great day, and we'll see you here next week.